This is the story of Final Fantasy XIV, Stormblood, Part 1 of 4. Now, where we left off at the end of patch 3.56, Omega attacked Shinryu in a spectacular battle, and they crash-landed somewhere in Gyr Abania. Also, the Scion we've been referring to as Yida revealed that Yida died 6 years ago, and that she is actually her younger sister, Lys. Let's get started. At the Rising Stones, the Scions meet to discuss a message received from the Eorzean Alliance.
General Uldin reports that his forces have secured the breach in Bazaar's wall.
He further reports that there's still no sign of Omega or Shinryu, and that they ask for the Scions' help, as they don't wish the capturing of Bazaar's wall to be seen as an act of war.
And the Alliance leaders have no wish to be branded invaders.
Lys is angry that the Alliance is slow to fight for Alamigo's liberation, but Alphino says they need the consent of their people and support from the Alamigan resistance before entering Gyr Abania. Lys is formally asked if she's willing to act as intermediary to secure support from the Alamigan resistance.
Of course I am. You know I'd like nothing more.
The hero and a few others agree to join her.
Well then, Tataru, I leave the Rising Stones in your capable hands.
Don't worry, Alphino. I'll see that the place is still standing when you come back.
Gosetsu and Yugiri inform the others that they are returning to the Far East to fight for Doma.
Though our battlefields be 1,000 mounds apart, our purpose is one. Let all men hearken to the clarion call of freedom, of liberation, from Eorzea to the Far East, that they may rise up and cast down the curse of Garlemald.
Take care, you hear me? When all of this is over, we're going to celebrate, together. Just you wait.
Tataru gifts Lys a new outfit, and the heroes depart for Gyr Abania. The heroes are greeted by Roban at Bazaar's wall. He confirms that they will wait to proceed until they have the support of the Alamigans. Cid makes a surprise appearance, but he says he's here to help track down Omega and Shinryu. Roban fears that the Guardian Empire may have taken Omega by now, but Cid reminds him that he activated stasis mode when the crash happened. Nevertheless, he says it's critical that they find it. Lys is eager to get started and says she will head to a place called Rhalgr's Reach, which is home to Alamigan rebels of influence. Along the way, Lys points out a bridge that the Empire captured and named Castellum Veladina, remarking that the Garlean flag is an eyesore. The heroes arrive at Rhalgr's Reach, a town hidden behind an illusionary rock. They are met with extreme suspicion until Conrad, their leader, recognizes the Scions.
Allow me to welcome you once more to Rhalgr's Reach, our humble headquarters. My name is Conrad Kemp, and I have the dubious honor of overseeing operations here.
It is a pleasure to meet you, Master Kemp. I am Alphino Leveilleur, of the Scions of the Seventh Dawn, as are my comrades.
Lys apologizes for stealing Ida's identity for years, but Conrad doesn't hold it against her. She then says it's time to take control of the resistance so it doesn't fall to nutcases like Ilbert again. Then Alphino says the Eorzean Alliance is now formally offering military assistance. While Conrad confers with his advisors, the heroes decide to explore Rhalgr's Reach. Lys shows the hero the statue of Rhalgr, the Breaker of Worlds. It is said he guided her ancestors to their homeland centuries ago when a great flood was bringing the end of the 5th Astral Era. After becoming familiar with the town, they reconvene with Conrad. Conrad says they are happy to receive the aid of the Eorzean Alliance, but he notes that the resistance is very fragmented and diverse in their beliefs.
Simply put, I can only speak for the people of Rhalgr's Reach.
Further, he says they lost many good soldiers to the Griffin, and the resistance is in bad shape.
Oh, we'd be more than happy to help you get back on your feet. If we're going to work together, we'll be doing ourselves a favor.
Ishtola and I could lend a hand in the infirmary. From what I saw, they could do with a few more healers.
Alphino says he'll return to the Rising Stones to recruit soldiers, while Lys, Alizé, and the hero agree to aid the resistance leaders Meffrid and Minago. The hero first checks with Minago. She says she needs an escort back to Bazaar's wall to deliver a formal reply and report to the Alliance, so the four of them leave together. The hero encounters and defeats Imperial patrols along the way. They arrive safely at Roban's table near Bazaar's wall.
It is good to see you again, my friends. I hope you are here to tell me you have made contact with the Resistance.
Alizé introduces Minago and Roban.
At your service, sir. And may I say what an absolute honor it is to stand before the Bull of Alamigo.
She hands him the letter they came to deliver, and she adds that the morale of the resistance has been damaged by the failures of the Griffin.
We will not lie to them. This is war, and lives will be lost. Yet what we offer is not the fever dream of a madman, but true hope.
Pipin suggests that they go to war with the Garleans openly.
If we can achieve even a token victory, I believe it will serve to rekindle the hope of the Mhigan people and inspire them to rise up once more.
He then says he already has a plan. He says a shipment of Magitech armor is passing nearby, and they could lure them out and attack them with fellow Mhigans, securing an easy victory that would boost morale. Everyone agrees to the plan, and Minago leaves to inform her comrades. Roban instructs the hero to attack an Imperial patrol to lure those in possession of Magitech armor to respond with force. The hero finds a nearby Imperial patrol and attacks them. Roban and the heroes lie in wait for the response. It doesn't take long before Grinawat is spotted marching along the road, accompanied by soldiers and Magitech armor.
Well, 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 if it isn't Garland's little troublemaker. I can't wait to see the look on Zenos' face when I bring him your head.
Overwhelmed, Grinawat tries to flee but runs into Minago and company, and he is swiftly defeated.
Oh! Damn it all! Miracles of Magitech design, my arse! I've passed harder stools than these piles of scrap.
Aye! Run and tell your Viceroy! The day belongs to Alamigo!
Yeah!
Conrad is thankful and thrilled, then everyone returns to Rhalgr's Reach. Back at Rhalgr's Reach, Conrad says this victory is just the beginning of a new campaign to drive the Garleans out of Eorzea completely. Minago says she will travel to the local villages and spread the word. The hero then turns to Meffrid to see what he needs help with. Meffrid starts by thanking the hero for helping him acquire medicine and quarry mill a while ago. He says since then he spent a little time in Little Alamigo before making his way to the Reach to join Conrad. Moving on, he says the task is to go to a village called Gannha to recruit soldiers for the resistance. Lys is eager to go as she is from that village, and together they head out. The trip is made with relative ease, and just outside Gannha, Meffrid says that these people may have lost a few to the Griffin. Further, he says there may be Imperial spies among them, so they need to be cautious in multiple ways. Meffrid introduces them to the elder, Ragnfrid. He says they lost many men and women for the Griffin's fight for liberation and their village is suffering. When Meffrid insists that this time is different and the Alliance is on their side, Ragnfrid tells them to leave his village and never come back. Lys reveals her identity and that this is her home, so Ragnfrid says he has no right to kick them out, but insists they will not help their cause. Aside, Meffrid says they should approach villagers directly and earn their trust. The hero gets to know a few villagers and helps them with various problems. He then goes to check on Lys and finds that she has infuriated one villager by suggesting she is one of them after they have been suffering under 20 years of tyranny and she hasn't. Aside, Meffrid says if they had never left, they would not be in the position now to make a difference, and they should not apologize nor have regrets for their decisions. Just then, a flustered woman arrives begging for help. She says she and her brother Workata went to pay their tribute to the Empire, but they were attacked by Kikirn, a local beast tribe, who took Workata and their money. The heroes decide to head to a ziggurat to the south, where they are believed to be. Approaching the ziggurat, the heroes hear a man screaming. At the top, they find him surrounded by Kikirn, and the hero defeats them. He is humbled and grateful for being rescued, but rushes off for fear that his tribute to the Empire will be late. Lys insists they trail him to make sure he's okay, and Meffrid agrees, though he says they cannot interfere. They find him and watch from a distance as he approaches to pay his tribute, but Lys notices they are not Imperials.
Worse. Skulls. Listen, Lys, whatever happens, stay hidden and do not intervene. Understood?
You there! Halt! You know you shouldn't be here. Explain yourself.
Forgive me, sir. I came to deliver the tributum.
They accuse him of being a resistance spy since it's so late, but he says he was delayed by bandits and they don't believe him.
Is this a joke? You don't seriously expect us to believe this is a fifth? How stupid do you think we are?
It is, I swear, on my mother's life.
spare us. You came late, you lied about bandits, and then you tried to cheat the Empire of its due.
Think you can kill them all? Including the ones watching from the tower? Even if you did, others would come for him and his family. You'd be condemning them all to a life of hard labor. Assuming they didn't just execute them, that is.
That's enough! Lord Zenos is expecting our report.
They depart, and Meffrid is furious after seeing his fellow men doing the work of the Imperial Viceroy. Back in Gannha, Ragnfrid is grateful for them saving Mercata. He's also pleased that they did not fight the Skulls, as that would have brought wrath upon their whole village. It irks Lys that he's content with not fighting back. He thanks her for the help, but insists this is the only way. She leaves in anger. The hero finds Lys, heartbroken over the villagers' desperation, and admitting this isn't really her home if she hasn't suffered with them. The angry villager from earlier approaches to apologize for his harsh words, and to admit he feels like a hypocrite. He was saying he's the true villager and Lys is an outsider, when she was the one who left to save one of them, not him. He then says he and a few friends want to join the resistance, and Meffrid invites him to Rhalgr's Reach. With that, the heroes return to the Reach. Back at Rhalgr's Reach, Conrad thanks the heroes for accomplishing so much in so little time. Alphino returns with new recruits from the Rising Stones, introducing one named Arenvald to Conrad. Meanwhile, in the Garlean palace of Alamigo, the Viceroy arrives. A tribunal gives his report, including the fact that Magitech armors were destroyed by the resistance and Imperial units suffered near total casualties.
Near total? Go on.
My lord, there was but a single survivor from the unit in question, which falls under my command. According to his report, they were ambushed by a contingent of Eorzean Alliance regulars, abetted by resistance insurgents.
The stubbornness to survive is not without worth. He may live. However, the 12th is no place for the weak.
The Tribunal and Zenos agree that they have no need for cowards in their legion.
My lord,
Cowards, who defer critical missions to their subordinates, who hide within their castra, never meeting their prey in battle, never staring into the whites of their eyes.
Zenos talks about the Alamigan resistance and the Eorzeans next, referring to them as savages.
And so I put the question to you, my fellow huntsman. How shall we deal with these savages?
Only Fordola, the former Alamigan, steps forward.
we have no need of your proposals, savage.
This savage yearns to hunt her own. The floor is yours, Commander.
Thank you, my lord.
Back at Rhalgr's Reach, the hero gets to know people around town and helps them with their work. After some time, the Scions reconvene and discuss what to do next. They unanimously agree that they are committed to this new war for Alamigo to the end. Y'shtola, Kryl, and Lys decide to stay and help in Rhalgr's Reach for the time being, while the others head back to Roban's station. At Castrum Oriens, where Roban is stationed, Minago reports on the success of recent recruitment efforts, and on Conrad's behalf proposes that they strike at Castrum Valadina next. Roban agrees to it, and the heroes depart with Pipin to gather some intel first.
Excellent. The disposition of the Imperial forces is exactly as expected. I will notify Father. Cannon fire! Where did it come from?
Smoke! There! Is that... Oh gods, it's Rhalgr's Reach.
We must abort the assault and return to the Reach at once.
Forward! Forward! Give them no quarter!
Traitor! Kinslayer!
You're no kin of mine! Meffrid! Hell take you!
Stand aside, Pilus. This one has promise.
Have a care, my lord. She's not like the others.
Do not disappoint me, girl, or I will kill you.
7 hells! It's him! It's Zenos!
Cryle!
Alphino!
We saw the smoke and thought we heard explosions. Are we under attack?
Cryle explains that Lys and Conrad rallied the guards, buying them time to escort the wounded to safety. Arnvald agrees to escort the wounded back to the wall while the other heroes return to Rhalgr's reach. The heroes arrive in the midst of battle and join in, fighting their way through many Imperials until they find Y'shtola and Lys.
What took you so long?
Alphino and Cryle get to work healing them right away. Zenos approaches and sends Fordola away so he can face the Warrior of Light.
Your friends were a disappointment. But you will entertain me, will you not?
The hero faces Zenos in a lengthy battle, but Zenos is an incredible fighter and the hero is defeated.
Pathetic.
Zenos departs and Roban orders his soldiers to see to the wounded. He then checks on the hero.
There's no ordinary foe could best the likes of you.
Don't you die on me, Y'shtola! Hold on!
Don't worry, it's going to be all right.
Cryle asks the hero to go check on the other wounded. The hero finds that Meffrid has died and he was clutching a charm. He takes the charm to Conrad. He says the only life Meffrid was ever willing to sacrifice was his own, and that Meffrid would have made a better leader than himself. Later, a carriage is prepared to take the wounded back to the wall, but Conrad decides to stay at the Reach and help. At Castrum Oriens, Lys is sickened that Meffrid's life was taken in an instant, and by an Mhigan, not a Garlean. Conrad arrives and they have a meeting.
Were it not for the swift actions of the Scions and the Alliance, many more would have died. You risked your lives to save ours, and for that we thank you.
There is no need for thanks. We are allies, are we not?
Conrad says he has lost the will to fight, and laments over the skulls and other Mhigan children who have joined the Empire.
Sons and daughters of Gyr Abania, raised to be proud citizens of the Empire, with all the rights and responsibilities that entails. It'd be easy to curse them and call them traitors, but they're our children. Our flesh and blood. If the only way to forge the future we want is to cut down our own, then...
Minago and Roban strongly disagree and wish to press on, but Conrad thinks it's hopeless. He mentions Zenos, and Alphino says Zenos conquered Doma and remains in charge of it, and he is a peerless warrior. The heroes decide they will take the fight to Doma while Conrad rebuilds the Reach, so they can force Zenos to struggle on 2 fronts. Cryle agrees to stay and watch over Y'shtola, while the others head to Limsa Lominsa to secure a boat. In Limsa Lominsa, Alphino remarks that taking an Eorzean airship or sea vessel all the way to Doma would surely catch the attention of the Garleans, so he's secured a vessel from a pirate crew instead. While he prepares supplies for the trip, the hero heads to Revenant's Toll to get some insight from Doman allies. At the Rising Stones, the hero hears tales of Doma's free past and current subjugation, and how Zenos absolutely crushed their recent rebellion. Returning to Limsa Lominsa, the hero finds Alphino and the pirate crew ready to leave. At the docks, a surprise visitor makes an appearance.
Urianger! Tell me you haven't come all this way just to see us off.
He shares with them an ancient Doman poem, then hands Alice a powerful rapier.
It's beautiful. Is it for me?
It is, and just as she thanks him for it, the pirate captain says it's time to leave. The following morning,
Captain! You're needed on deck! Something queer's afoot. The winds died down, the waters went still, and all of a sudden, we were dragged off course.
Some of the lads are muttering about seeing things in the water.
Might I persuade you to join me?
On deck, after discussing the lack of options, Alisei suggests they wait and see where they're being taken, and then handle whatever it is, and everyone agrees. Amidst the Sirensong Sea, the crew is assaulted by sea monsters and ghosts, as the boat is pulled to the shore of a dark, foggy island. The hero searches the island for the source of their troubles, and finds the siren, Lorelei. As he defeats the siren, the fog clears. The hero reconvenes with the others and finds they've already repaired the ship and are ready to continue with clear skies. Due to Garlean occupation in Doma, the crew leaves them at the nearby city of Kugani. At the docks in Kugani, Alphino wonders how now to make the trip to Doma and realizes that since Yugiri and Gosetsu would have had the same problem, they might be in this city. The Scions head to the tavern to gather news and rumors. As they arrive, they are approached by a friendly businessman.
The Scions of the Seventh Dawn, I presume. I hope your voyage was not too trying.
And you are?
Ah, yes, of course. Forgive me. Hancock of the East Aldenard Trading Company, at your service. On behalf of Chairman Lolorito, I bid you welcome to Kugani and invite you to take refreshments at our local offices.
Lolorito? I was aware his interests extended beyond the borders of Eorzea, but not so far as Kugani.
Alphino tells Hancock he doesn't trust him for help. Hancock urges them to follow so they can speak in private, as this tavern has many people with special interests, including agents of foreign governments.
To paraphrase, Kugani is teeming with Imperial spies, one or several of whom could now be listening to our every word.
They have their doubts, but the Scions agree to follow Hancock for now. They arrive at the private room in the Ruby Bazaar. Hancock explains that this room is magically protected by thaumaturges from eavesdropping, so they can discuss freely.
You may avail yourselves of these offices for the duration of your visit. Come and go as you like, and know that you may speak freely here.
Your offer is most generous, but I will not enter into any agreement which would leave us beholden to you or your master.
Hancock explains that Lolorito has taken care of these arrangements himself out of remorse for the events at the Bloody Banquet in Ul'dah, and he expresses that they have a shared interest in assisting the Doman Liberation Front. He even mentions that both Gosetsu and Yugiri have come to Kugani, but have had trouble crossing the Ruby Sea.
The Ruby Sea? Sorry, I've never been any good at geography.
Hancock opens a map to explain, saying that the Ruby Sea is the body of water between Kugani and the land where Doma lies.
Therefore, if your friends are to reach Doma, they must first cross the Ruby Sea.
He explains that since ancient times, the Ruby Sea has been controlled by a collective of skilled sailors called the Confederacy. They require a payment, called the Ruby Tithe, in order to guarantee the safety of those who cross. 25 years ago, when Garlemald conquered Doma, this remained the same.
The recently appointed acting Imperial Viceroy of Doma had other ideas, however. She has formally condemned the Confederacy and declared that any who recognize their authority shall be branded enemies of the Empire.
Doma caved to pressure from Garlemald and has banned the Ruby Tithe as well, but the Confederacy now says those who wish to cross the Ruby Sea do so at their peril.
No wonder they struggle to secure passage to Doma. What captain would risk such a journey given the circumstances?
Alphino suggests they attempt to cross and hopefully run into their allies along the way. He prepares sketches to use to ask around town. After some asking around, the hero finds a woman at the tavern who recognizes them from the picture. She says they were looking for a means to cross the Ruby Sea, so she introduced them to a few ship captains. She provides a list of captains to the heroes. They ask around, and the captains seem to recognize Gosetsu, but none recognize Yugiri or provide any useful information. Moments later, Lys encounters a talking fish named Gyodo that claims to have provided passage for Gosetsu and Yugiri earlier. He says he can take them at night, and it will be expensive, but they agree to it. Back at the Ruby Bazaar, Lys tells the others about Gyodo's offer to help. Hancock says that Gyodo has a reputation for profiting off of others' misfortunes, and may even be working for the Empire as a spy. Even so, the Scions decide to try it out, and hope that even if it is a trap, it may lead them to their allies, since Gyodo may have tried the same trick on them. And part 1 ends there. If you want to see what happens next, check out the video for Stormblood Part 2. See you next time.